A better route. Part 85. Once Zabuza and Haku had gotten settled their hotel room, they decided to gather up with the rest of the gang to go and visit with them. They'd only met Team 7 and 11, so those were the only ones who they actually ended up being interested in visiting. All Kakashi had told them is that some friends were stopping by, but hadn't told them who it was. He wanted it to be a surprise. Kakashi opened the front door and yelled, "Hey guys, look who stopped by." Naruto looked to see who it was. Haku and No Brows, how've you been? Zabuza grumbled, "I'm a dangerous ninja, for crying out loud. Why does everyone focus on the no eyebrows thing?" Haku ignored him and greeted Naruto, "We've been very good, how've you been?" Naruto shrugged, "Can't complain. Been training like a madman." Hinata walked up behind him, "You certainly have been." "Hello Haku-san, Zabuza-san, it's good to see you again." Zabuza grinned, "Good to see you too, nice that you're still the respectful one." Mito heard all the commotion and came in to see who came to visit. "Wow, can't believe Kakashi was talking about you guys. Never thought Zabuza would actually go all straight arrow on us." Zabuza was really starting to irritated. "Does no one see the giant sword on my back?" That's when Enko came over, pulling Sasuke's ear to force him to come with her. "You can kiss your girlfriend later, right now we've got visitors." Haku raised an eyebrow. "Sasuke has a girlfriend?" Mito laughed, "We couldn't believe it at first either." Sasuke saw who it was and said, "Oh, it's you guys. I'm surprised you guys actually want to see us." Zabuza rolled his eyes, "I'm flattered." Enko asked them, "How come you guys are in town?" Haku explained, "We're guarding the Mizukage, although, she's much stronger than us to be honest." Sasuke noticed Haku had said, "she," a female Kageha, wonder how that's going to fare. At that comment, every woman in the room turned to him and said at the same time with a dark aura about them, "What's that supposed to mean?" Sasuke could see he was in a tight spot. Nothing." Hinata smirked, "That's what we thought." Zabuza looked around, "Hey, we're missing two. Where's Jiraiya and the kid who was always drawing?" Naruto frowned a little bit at the mention of his sensei. "Uncle Jiraiya got killed in line of duty." Zabuza being surprised would have been an understatement. He couldn't believe what he was hearing, must have took a fucking army to take him out. Naruto shook his head, "One guy actually." Zabuza's jaw dropped and eyes widened at that. "Holy shit. I didn't think there was a single person who could take someone like him out. Who in the hell was it?" Naruto scowled as he said the name, Pain, one of the Akatsuki's top members. Zabuza wasn't sure what to make of that. That's gotta be one badass son of bitch. "Sorry to hear he's gone." Mito finally said, "So are we." Zabuza was still curious as to where the other one might be at. "What about the other kid, Sai, I think his name was?" At that Naruto suddenly realized, "Actually, I don't think I've seen him since I got back from training. Does anybody else know what's been going on with him?" At this, Hinata decided to speak since she knew the answer. "About a month before you came home, he said that he was going to be doing a lot of training in the village and we wouldn't see much of him." Naruto wasn't buying it. "I would think that we'd see him at least a little bit if he was in the village." Sasuke had to agree with him, "Maybe you're right. After Zabuza and Haku leave we'll find out what we can." Naruto nodded, "Good plan. Come on, let's get some snacks and something to drink and catch up." Sai had indeed been busy training, but it had been for the most daunting task of his life because for so long he thought he had finally been free from the clutches of Danzo, but it appeared that he still had use for Sai. About 2 months ago, he'd forced Sai into coming back to join Root by using his deepest darkest secret, and it had been a meeting the young artist would be continued to be haunted by for a long time. Flashback. It had taken Danzo a long time, but he'd finally managed to rebuild Root right under the nose of those fools on the council. He only needed one more person to put his new plan into motion. Which in fact, happened to be a young boy who was standing right in front of him at the moment, scratching his neck and fidgeting uncomfortably. Sigh, it's been a very long time since we've been able to properly speak to one another. Sai had no desire to be here, that's not by accident. Why did you ask me to come, Danzo? Danzo didn't like the tone of his voice. You know, I can remember a day when you called me Danzo-sama. Sai just wanted to leave as soon as he could. He had things he needed to do, that was a long time ago. Danzo was shocked at just how much the boy had grown to despise him. I guess we'll just skip the pleasantries then. Root has gotten back into action and I'd like you to join us. Sai turned to leave. Let me save you a lot of time in trying to convince me, I'm not interested. Danzo chuckled, so I guess you want everyone to know your little secret then? Sai stopped and began to shake in fear. What do you mean? Danzo gave him a dark smile. What do you think I mean? If you don't do exactly as I say, everyone's going to know the truth about who your father really was. Sai had to keep himself from panicking. How do you know? No one was supposed to know but the fifth Hokage, and he said he destroyed the birth certificate and any other documents related to it years ago. Danzo loved it when things went his way. Yes, but I went snooping around about your parents long before you did. You were what, 13 when you asked him to try and find the documents? You'd been a part of Root ages before that, and I never put someone into my organization without some kind of research and insurance of my own, you know that. Sai began to realize how dire the situation he was in. So what? My knowing about my father won't change the way they feel about me. Danzo scoffed. Honestly, I wasn't talking about your friend's boy. How do you think the rest of the village is going to react and they find out the Leaf's demon doctor had a son and truth behind it of how he came to be in this world? Sai cringed at his father's nickname. The demon doctor, aka Medici Karinin, was one of the most notorious people in the Leaf's history. He'd helped Orochimaru commit hundreds of his atrocities, and from what people said he'd enjoyed every second of it. While most people might be able to get over that, Sai doubted they could get over the enhancements his father had made to him. While Sai's DNA was mostly from his real father and mother, it wasn't exclusively from them. Medici had killed just under a dozen people so that he could use numerous DNAs to alter Sai's. Even worse was the truth about Sai's mother, which was something even he had never been able to recover from. She'd been one of his father and Orochimaru's experiments, but they'd decided to use her to multitask. They artificially inseminated her and forced her to carry Sai for 9 months. Once she'd given birth to him, they killed her. Sai didn't know how many people had died so that he could live, and frankly he didn't want to know. Having to face the village if the truth was ever revealed wasn't something he wanted to think about. He'd be a constant reminder of everything his father and Orochimaru had done, facing years of scorn and never looked at the same way he used to be. What was he supposed to do? Whatever he could do, it looked like he was all out of options at the moment. Looks like you haven't left me much of a choice. Danzo couldn't help but think how hard this must be for the boy, and in all honesty, he didn't really care. No, I haven't. I'm assuming this means that'll be coming back to Root? Sai had never wanted to kill a person so badly. I guess I will, but don't think that this means I'll be calling you Danzo-san now. Danzo really didn't care what he called him, just be sure to be training hard and efficiently enough, and wait for us to give you a mission. Sai growled, can I just leave? It's not like I've forgotten how you operate things. Danzo dismissed him. Fine, you may leave. Flashback end. Sai had been forced back into what might have been the worst time of his life. He'd gotten his first assignment the day before he knew, but he could at least breathe at the fact that it hadn't anything terrible. It was just a simple search and retrieve mission. The location was close to the village as well, so it wouldn't be an awful mission. Or at least, that's what Sai thought. Zabuza and Haku were having the best time they'd had in ages catching up with everyone. Kakashi had brought in Shiramaru to see Haku and Zabuza again, and the bunny seemed somewhat terrified of Zabuza. Apparently Zabuza had used him as a substitute and almost gotten him killed a few too many times. Mito and Hinata briefly discussed with Haku how to try and get around his problem with girls. Mainly, they told him to try and get some more masculine clothes, i.e. avoiding the color pink. Sasuke, who had been considering getting himself a sword recently, asked Zabuza what kind he thought would suit him the best. After looking him over and evaluating his fighting style, Zabuza suggested a Chikuto-style blade with chakra metal, since it was lightweight and would integrate well with his taijutsu and could later be used to infuse his element within it too. When Sasuke asked him where to get it, he actually suggested the Iron Dragon, which its location was actually right in the leaf. In fact, it was the best place to get a custom sword at the moment. Anko mostly just listened and occasionally threw a jab at Zabuza from time to time. The two of them had very similar personalities, so they were having quite a bit of fun once you got them together. It had been a lot of fun seeing them, but they weren't able to stay long. They ended up talking for about 2 hours and then going to the gate to meet up with Mei. Once it was time for all of them to leave, everybody went to the main gate to give the Mist Ninjas a farewell. Sasuke had gone over to shake Zabuza's hand. "Thanks for your advice about the sword, it sounds like it's gonna be really adept with my style." Zabuza concerned himself with too much of it, "Not a big deal. I'm always happy to introduce a new, young future swordsman out there." Obito was busy giving Mei answers to her questions about setting up trade routes again. The council seemed very enthusiastic about the proposal. "I think we'll have everything set up pretty soon, if you can get everything on your end set." Mei was glad to hear it. "Oh, believe me, we'll have those trade routes set up in no time." Haku and gave Hinata and Mito a quick hug before departing. "Good to see you guys again, until next time." They giggled, "Nice to see you too, and remember, no more pink." Naruto and Kakashi walked over to Mei. "Just so you know, no brows over there seems to think the world of you." Mei looked over at him. "I know, and I actually think pretty highly of him myself." Zabuza looked at the three of them talking and got a bad feeling. Quickly to try and change the subject he said, "Lady Mei, it's time to go." Mei called back, "Just 1 second, Zabuza-kun." Zabuza blushed under his mask. Soon the three Mist Ninjas started heading back home and everyone in the leaf was back to preparing for Naruto, Kakashi, and Mito to leave for their sage training. Still, seeing them had brought about a nice sense of nostalgia.